Welcome back, listeners, to The Brighter Side of Blue, a podcast, a worldwide podcast, coming to you live from the Blue Line Technology Studios. I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
We have who's the guy over here?
Another Tommy.
Another Tommy. Tommy
Thanks for having
Malchuk.
me,
Welcome.
boys.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Well, you almost are one of the original members of this, but you just don't have time to do it.
Right.
This was kind of like your idea to start this whole thing.
It was a group effort, I'll say that.
Well, you probably helped with the mission statement. We have a new mission statement,
That's what I
Tommy,
hear.
and
Yeah.
we're going to stick with it so all of our listeners can recite it.
Okay.
Tommy, what do you got?
You ready?
Yeah.
Should we stand for this?
No, not yet.
Put our hand over our heart?
Down the road, maybe. The mission of our podcast is to build a platform to memorialize some of the great police work and stories of the past and the present, to spotlight some of the investigation as well as the personalities that have dedicated much of their lives to the public service, to humanize our law enforcement personnel, to create positivity about law enforcement and the public perception of the profession, and to have a lot of fun along the way.
Hey, did you notice?
Wait, hold on now.
Did you notice his voice went like super high when he started that? Like somebody kicked him in the sack?
One last thing, no politics.
Oh, yeah, no politics, but don't.
Is that in there?
We're apolitical.
Oh, it is.
Our mission
Okay.
statement.
I didn't. What are you talking about? I have.
It did it.
I have
Am I right?
I wasn't really listening.
You went a little
That's how JJ
You did go a
rolls.
little high.
a little high.
I heard it.
high.
I already heard it. I don't need to hear
Our mission statement.
If you don't say JJ's name before you talk, he doesn't listen.
Hey, we're taking this mission statement on the road, brother.
Yes, we are. We got our first on the road recording. We're going to do this on March the 28th from Barney's Sports Pub at 6027 Chippewa. And
South
we
St.
will be
Louis.
featuring the Central Patrol Detective Bureau and stories from that era that myself and producer John and we're going to have on as our main guest John Heffley.
Oh,
For
God.
those who know the
boy.
Heff, he's
You're in for a
quite the
treat
character, good storyteller. And we're going to have on Mickey Regan too. He's he's a legend in the Central Patrol Bureau. Did 24 years there, and we have a featured story that's very interesting that includes a hostage situation and a long chase. So that's an interesting story, and we'll have a lot of funny stories along the way with those characters. You can guarantee.
And you don't
that.
know who's going to be in the crowd coming up with some crap at that one. That's
Well,
be
and then
good groups.
speaking of the crowd, is what we're going to do afterwards is we're going to do an after the show with producer John. So if you have little short stories, you got some pranks that were funny, Vinny Stalin
Oh,
was the
God, Vinny
king of
Stalin.
pranks. Maybe he shows up and tells some of the pranks he pulled over the years, which are every station's done it. But that's what we want to do in the future. We're going to be on the road featuring some of these units throughout the city and the county and different municipalities, and we really want to have fun with people and really stay to our mission and get that done.
Let's make it clear that we're not playing pranks on producer John. You just can tell him about some of your better
better pranks.
Yes. That's
We
what
could do a whole show
Get
on
that-
Vinny Stalin's pranks.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
we could do a week on him.
He did more practical jokes than he made arrests.
Yeah.
By far.
There's
by
nothing
far.
wrong with that.
There is something wrong with that. Yeah, he spent way too much time messing with people. And all right, well, I'm not even going to go there. But if this takes off, we'll be coming to a pub near you. You know?
Absolutely.
Reach out to
Featuring
us.
somebody.
Yeah.
So we've got some other groups in mind, and we're going to have some fun with it.
Yep. Hey, Tommy, JJ had a successful horn etiquette victory. He took our counseling to heart, and I think he
This
finally
is
won.
an absolute success story.
It's actually debatable what it's successful. Some people might disagree with me.
You just tell the story, Sora, and we'll decide that.
Okay, you ready? This is last week. I'm on my way to work.
Right.
And 55 goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes, and they got the cones and the arrows pointing.
Right.
So
The construction.
it's early in the morning. He's like,
I get it.
thanks for
I
that.
got it.
Oh, you're in. Hey, wait till your
It's all
story. Wait till you tell your story. But
I'm not making fun of you.
No, I get you. I appreciate
there's
the
a
help.
lot of construction.
so anyway, it's 8 in the morning. I'm going there. I get in. There's so many good people that get over, and that left lane is wide open. So I get in line, and cars start going past me. Boom, boom, and it's a pet peeve of mine.
And then
So-
break in at the last minute.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I pull over, and I'm blocking it. I'm riding the line, so they can't get past me, and I don't want to give up my spot. So I'm just sitting there.
Oh, you're blocking the go by lane too.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just
Well, I'm
you're
it's not fair for them
All right.
to all zoom up and it causes more of a headache,
I
right?
get it.
I'm with you.
So I'm in this lane, and I'm going. It's taking time. We're going slow. This black Mercedes was behind me, and I could see there's a guy, and he's in there, and he's right up on me, and I'm just going slow. He hits the horn. I look in my mirror, and he's going, like, give me the what are you doing? Go.
Angry
Not-
gestures.
Right.
And I just went.
Go.
Gave him a
There you
waggle
go.
finger. Waggle?
I just did waggle.
All right.
And he didn't say no. And I could see in his head, he is like, holy cow.
Right.
He is not happy. But then he quit giving me the waggle. When I did this, he stopped. But you could just tell he was steaming. So finally we get up, and I'm in uniform,
Yeah.
but he can't tell.
No.
You know. So I pull up. It finally opens back up to 3 lanes, and I let him pass me. So he comes by and stops. And I look at him, wave. I guess he sees my serious stern look,
Right.
or my uniform, not sure.
Right.
And he waves, and then he kind of slows down. He doesn't speed past me or nothing. I kind of take off in front of him.
All
And
right.
so,
See?
yeah.
All right.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
That's
See?
a good one.
Nice,
That's
JJ.
huge. That's a
That's it,
success
JJ.
story.
This is a transformation for you.
Yeah.
Really?
However, you're going to
See,
have to
I
work
did-
on that instigation.
I thought I should have got this
The
support.
instigation
I should have
part.
got this support last
that
time.
move that you get in the other lane to keep people from doing that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are down with that, but that is an instigation move.
Yeah, that could be perceived as instigating.
See, I knew this is how it was going to come.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I told my sister the story the day after it happened. And she goes, oh, I'm one of those that zooms up there. I go, oh, don't you
No.
ever. So she says, all right, I'll stop doing it. My
See,
sister.
so we're getting the word out.
So
though.
Cindy is
Yeah.
like,
Well, I don't know. I think there's a whole line of thought out there that you're supposed to be like a zipper, and that's how the line moves quicker. A car comes in, and you're supposed to do that.
no, disagree. I can say this. Once I see the last car gets over, and they're not trying to get over anymore up there way ahead of me, the line starts picking up. It happens try it. You guys get in that
Okay.
situation,
All right.
try it.
I try to get over as soon as I realize that there is
See,
people waiting.
that's courtesy.
But then sometimes you don't get that chance of getting over.
Sometimes you're right.
Because everybody's playing your game where they're not letting anybody in.
Or they're zooming up, not letting you sneak in
Bar,
front of
So then there's all kinds of horns blowing. Everybody's mad. Oh, dude, I just realized there's a back.
I'm proud of you, JJ.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I think
good.
I appreciate
Yeah.
the support for once.
Yeah.
Thanks.
no, we got your back on
I
that.
got you too, JJ.
Oh, you have my back once in a while, though.
Producer John's casting his approval. He usually abstains.
No, he
I'm
doesn't.
weighing in today. I'm proud of JJ.
I'm
Thanks,
proud of you,
Jen.
JJ. You know, I
Does
think
this
we
go
should.
on every day?
the
You
word
take
out,
the same
people.
route?
Yes.
Soon.
The word out.
Okay.
Could be.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always 55 south
Yeah.
or northbound.
Okay.
See how you received that horn?
Yeah, he received the horn well.
Yeah.
Just a waggle. Just a waggle. Saying, don't do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think he was mad. He was thinking, who does this guy think he is stopping me?
But then he saw the waggle and he's like, well, he's not mad.
100%.
So last year, when my 93-year-old mother was still driving, she tells a story. She made an error driving, and she she was 92 driving then.
Yeah.
And she cut somebody off, and as they were coming by her, she kind of looked over, and they were giving her the bird, flipping her off,
Really?
flipping her off, and then they came to a red light, and they were still flipping off, and my mom just rolled down her window, hi, and the person thought, oh my God, do I know this? And it was like, it deflated them, and they were so embarrassed. They thought they were flipping off somebody that they knew. My mom didn't know him from Adam, but
Well, the
She-
person
First of all, when you're 92 and they see that you're 92,
And to
you
give
got to
you.
give him a break.
you shouldn't be flipping
Right,
her
That's
off.
a horn exemption.
Yeah, he gets. Yeah.
There you go.
the person that Mrs. Howard cut off was walking down the sidewalk. Though.
Minor details,
Now
John.
we just lost our first listener. She was our very first listener, and now she's gone. Producer John throwing shade on Mrs. Howard.
Oh my
That's a good one,
God,
John.
that is pretty good. JJ,
Yes, sir.
you feeling zenish?
Oh, yes, I am.
Little
After that
twist
story
tonight.
is a little better. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
more support from you guys. Appreciate it.
We have a little announcement about the Zen though this time.
We do.
Sponsor.
Oh, yes. And actually, I want to go. You can keep the music rolling, but it's kind of ironic that Ed Messplay is sponsoring this with his insurance company. But I took one of his. He posted on something on Facebook I read on the show earlier, and I thanked him for it. And now look at this. He's sponsoring us. So
Yeah.
And he wrote this out for me, so I'm just going to read it so I don't screw up our first sponsor for the Zen. It says, sponsored by Ed Mesplay with American Insurance Services, your local medical and health insurance specialist over 25 years. You have questions or needs, help with Medicare or health insurance, call 636-240-8530. Let me read that again, 636-240-8530. And now for the Zen. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. The simplest Zen I ever had.
I love it.
Success is
that's good.
stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And that was by Winston Churchill.
All right. Okay.
He's a good man.
He was very smart. Very good, JJ.
That's it.
That's a good Zen. And
And
thanks to
that's-
Ed, too.
Ed, you
Ed,
know, anybody needs
Well done, Ed.
insurance?
Appreciate you. 636-240-8530.
Yep.
Very nice. And
Yeah,
thank
the
you,
brighter
Ed.
side of blue
He's your
hookup.
first, right?
Very
Sponsor?
first.
Yeah.
He's a very
Yeah.
yeah.
That's very cool. Thanks, Ed.
We're cutting it off there. We don't want any more sponsors.
No.
What?
you do.
That's a wrap.
No, no,
Oh
no.
my God,
Ed's
Tom,
huge.
Stab you.
Speaking of that, we got the mission statement that people can sponsor,
Yeah.
and we've got the Blue Line Roundtable, which is coming up, and we also have the Office of the Show, which is coming up shortly after we take care of some business here and talk with our buddy Tom, and then so yeah, those are some sponsorable sections.
And we're still waiting on the title sponsor from Bud
AB,
Light.
right?
And they're
So
coming.
if you
They're
know anybody at AB that can
Help a
push us
brother
the way
out.
along,
Yeah. I mean,
push us along the way. I should have said.
I think
said that
it's
way.
a righteous thing.
Yep.
What else you got, huh, Tommy?
I got a joke.
What?
You want to hear a joke?
He's got jokes.
So, this 4-year-old and 6-year-old are in their room one morning, and the 6-year-old tells the 4-year-old, "I think it's time we start cussing." And the 4-year-old says, "Yeah, I'm down with that." So the 6-year-old says, "Well, you say ass, and I'll say hell." All right. So they got the plan together. They go down for breakfast. The mom asks the 6-year-old and says, "What do you want for breakfast?" He says, "What the hell? I'll take some Cheerios." And the mom's eyes light up. She's coming after him. He can see her coming after him. So he starts running, but she catches him. She's swatting that ass all the way into his room, and she gets him into his room. She says, "You stay in there. You don't use that kind of language." So she comes back down, and the 4-year-old's still sitting in the kitchen, and she goes, "Well, what do you want for breakfast?" He goes, "I'm not sure, but you can bet your fat ass it ain't Cheerios."
Hey, we didn't need the fake laugh joke.
I didn't know where he was going with that.
I didn't either, but it turned out all right. And our live audience loves it.
Yeah, wow, we got a big crowd here.
Settle down back there.
Yeah.
Killing us. No, that's
That
pretty
is
good.
good.
JJ, do you have the Mobile did something really good last week, didn't they? They got a guy for murder or something?
Right.
Mobile Reserve was working that day. Down earlier in the morning, a guy carjacked a victim down in Jeff City. Put a gun to I think it was a female, put a gun to her head, carjacked it, and they took off. So they had the car was being followed, and then it hit over in East St. Louis. So Illinois State started chasing it all over East St. Louis, and they chased them back into St. Louis downtown area. But that's not a great area for us. We don't spike cars, or my unit. We avoid the downtown area at all costs. There's too many people, especially at this time of the afternoon. It was like 3:30. So my guys see it. The real time cameras see the car. They're calling it out. Well, it hits 40 eastbound, jumps around, kind of comes back, goes 40 eastbound, right there by the new soccer stadium. They start heading east back towards Illinois. My guys see it. They throw spike strips before it hits. They get the tires. 2 guns come out each window.
Oh.
They follow it. They kind of lose it. Comes back into the city, down Choteau, down. It ends up at 8th and Clark, and it kind of makes a left turn and hits a Tesla, and then they jump out and they take off running. Mobile chases the driver. They get him. The other guy takes off running. 4th District ends up chasing him and catching him. The driver was wanted for, obviously, the carjacking. He's wanted for questioning for a homicide. And then the other guy was wanted, both convicted felons. And the passenger was wanted for some kind of kidnapping. Both guns. The gun that they retrieved matched the gun that he put to the girl's head in Jeff City. So it was good work.
That's a great,
It's
that's a
great.
great police.
Yeah.
Great work.
Yeah.
Still going on
Actually,
out there. That's awesome.
I'll give a prop to my kid and his partner, Sayer. Michael. They chased down and caught the guy that was in the passenger side.
Oh, good, Michael.
Yeah.
Right. That,
Excellent.
Mike's had a great career.
Michael's been a good
No, he
police.
really has.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot. And how many years has he been on, JJ?
I think he's in his 12th already.
Well,
Jeez.
wow.
That's how old I am. I remember. You remember? I don't know if this will make the story, but remember when they went from 9 to 6 districts,
Yeah.
and I asked you to bring him to your district.
Yeah.
And you guys I did like a draft. Remember?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you remember the story?
yeah.
He tells me he gets Michael. I said, how'd you get him? He goes, well, I kept taking the guys I knew that the captain wanted. It was actually Hayden, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
You kept, and they had a little break, and he says, Danny, why are you taking all my people? He goes, oh, I don't really want them. I want them for trade bait.
Yep.
He goes, I play fantasy football.
Oh,
I heard that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got
that's good.
Michael, and it was a great move. He went to work for Steve Swerve and had a great little career with him. So it was
Yeah.
a great move for him.
Yeah.
12
Appreciate
years. Came
Now,
out
I think I
with
thanked you, but I'll thank you again for
I
that.
appreciate it. It's
He
good
did do
people
some good
remember
stuff.
some things.
Yeah.
I took care of my
I just
people.
like the fantasy football line.
I did it.
And-
I did. Hey, producer John, any word from Singapore?
No, I think they're on vacation, and they'll be back in Singapore soon.
Spring break.
Spring break.
Videographer
In
Jack,
Russia.
what do we got for a social media update? What do you got for us?
We're approaching 500,000 in views as far as across all of our
500,000?
clips, all of our episodes approaching 500,000, folks.
Are you,
So
are you really? Is he serious?
I'm being serious. Yep.
That is
That's with our
fantastic.
shorts and our
Wow.
shows.
Wow.
And if you go ahead and
500,000 people.
Where the hell are the sponsors?
Oh, they're coming.
Okay.
Oh, don't you worry
Yeah.
about that.
What about Ed?
Besides Ed.
Yeah,
Ed's stepping up.
So if you want to find us, you can go to our social medias. You get the Brighter Side of Blue on. You look that up on any of them: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find us.
And Jack's nailing these shorts, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Some of them are really funny. Some of them
getting
are
good.
serious. Follow us on our Facebook or all that stuff, and you can get them too. Tommy, I know you.
Oh,
you
I'm all
follow
over
them
it.
pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you behave tonight, you might find yourself on a short. If you perform
Really?
at the Blue
Okay.
Line Roundtable, which is coming up in a little bit, but
Right.
you could be somebody.
What are the three things we're talking about, Danny? On the
Oh,
Blue
it's
Line
the
Roundtable?
best. Stick around for this. Popes, presidents, and princes by
Yeah.
Tom Malachek.
Just
That's
one
What a
prince.
career that is.
One
Yeah, one
prince.
prince.
One
Oh,
prince.
Yeah, yeah.
One prince.
One prince,
Yeah.
several presidents, one pope.
Yep.
that's how he rolls. So he always rolls with the higher echelon.
Yeah, he
Right.
does. He does.
I don't know about that. but
And that's coming up, and that's still without a sponsor.
Yeah, at the Blue Line Roundtable.
still without a sponsor.
Definitely somebody wants to sponsor that, I'm sure.
Well, they will after tonight. Pope, presidents, and princes.
You think?
Yeah, they will. We have our officer Jamie Clark, our first officer of the week
First officer of the week. And,
from Brentwood, submitted by Chief Joe Spees. She was a fun officer to have on the show to interview, and she's our very first officer of the show.
it's our first one, so hope you guys enjoy that. And we will be back with the roundtable with you'll hear a lot more from our guest here.
You trust me, you'll hear a lot more from him. This is the most subdued he's ever been.
Right.
You could probably have hives being so silent.
no, I'm good.
You good?
You know, yeah.
I think producer
Okay.
John put this kibots on him from talking. Just
Did he
get
really?
in there and just get in there and be quiet.
Drop the hammer.
Yep.
All right.
He's got to earn his way on the air.
Well, hang in there. Enjoy Officer Clark,
Yep. And we'll
and
be right
we'll
back.
be
with
right back with the roundtable.
Yep.
Welcome back, and now we're at the Blue Line Roundtable. Popes, presidents, and princes. Guest Tommy Malachek. The Blue Line Roundtable is currently sponsored by
Nobody.
nobody. So if you're interested in sponsoring this segment, it's wide open.
It's called the Blue Line Roundtable, so isn't it kind of sponsored by Blue Line?
No, Blue Lines. See, I think producer John stepped out for a minute.
Right.
That was a
Just
J-
talking
that was
about
a
that.
JJ moment, pal.
He just had a JJ moment. That was right.
Blue line is another term for police officers.
It's the
Blue
thin
line.
blue line.
So yes, so this is the Blue Line Roundtable.
Oh,
Coming to you live from the Blue Line Technology Studio.
But we cleared that up though for everybody.
Yeah, now there's no confusion.
Thanks,
Right.
John.
Honestly, John, we were all confused. Okay, Tommy Sawyer was keeping this to himself.
Kinda like
Crystal
run a
clear
show
now.
and-
Tom Malachek,
How are you?
Did producer John have your mic off in the last segment?
I'm just kind of easing into it. You know.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise with this.
Yeah, there's a lot of interrupting.
Right.
So I just let everybody
It's
talk.
an art form to interrupt.
Yeah.
I
No,
think-
but I'm good.
I think I heard producer John say you have to earn your right to
He
speak
did.
here.
He did say that.
And check, if you don't talk, you can't get interrupted.
Right.
That's almost like a Zen moment. I was saying.
Kinda zen-y?
Kind of like in there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Zen-y. That's Zen. Thanks
Hey,
for having me.
No, thank you. I mean, hey, we've mentioned it before, but you're one of the minds behind the entire podcast. So you mess around, you might be here more often.
Okay, sounds good.
Find yourself on a YouTube short. Jack Milliken will put you on a YouTube short. We always talk about some of the things and experiences we have during the course of being a policeman that you only had because you were a policeman.
Right? Yeah, I heard that.
And you have some zingers.
Well,
Popes, presidents, and princes.
well, when you had that career he had, you're going to run into some dignitaries now.
Yeah. I mean, he had a privileged career, but we're not going to go there again, right?
Ah, why not? No, just kidding.
Fell into it.
Just kidding.
Fell into it.
Right.
You know.
Blind luck.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, before we get into that, I just want to mention that I've listened to almost all the episodes, and you guys are doing one heck of a job. You know, with the guest Harry Hager, Joe Burgoon, Jerry Layshock, just to mention a few. But that Steve Dodge episode, for him to come on and say what he had to say and tell his story was unbelievable. I have another whole level of respect for Steve. Great guy, great commander. I'm sure a wonderful chief. But for him to come on, I can't say enough about it. I mean, the courage that it took for him to relive that and talk about it. And then I didn't know the story, Joe Cruz. You know, we hang out with Joe all the time, have beers with Joe. I never heard that story.
Right.
So,
How he volunteered to be his partner.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
And,
that was a pretty good move, huh?
Yeah, but two great guys, and can't say enough about them. Especially Steve Dodge.
And
We're
he
very
never
proud of
spoke
that.
like that. Yeah, we're very proud. He never spoke like that in
Right.
that depth in public, and he did it so
Yeah,
people can learn from it.
absolutely.
And then he put his heart out there.
Right,
So,
right. Sorry, Ray. I just
That was
wanted to
good.
mention that. I enjoyed that segment.
Thank you.
so I'm just dying to hear this story.
Which one?
How are we getting the Pope story? What is
So
this
the-
Pope story?
The Pope story is that I was assigned to the governor's detail, as you know, and I started in '93 with Mel Carnahan, and who I just think the world of. So doing my dignitary protection stuff with the governor and other dignitaries, other visiting governors that would come in for meetings. In 1999, Pope John Paul came to St. Louis to visit the Archbishop Regali at the time. They were friends. He's staying at the Archbishop's residence on Lindell. And I was part of and privileged enough to be part of, or witness, I should say, the welcoming ceremony to the Pope because of the governor, me being on the governor's detail. So that day, the governor greeted the Pope, and Mel usually, if he was in St. Louis, he would stay in St. Louis and make a St. Louis day out of it. None of this going back and forth. So it was a St. Louis day. We greeted the Pope. We went about our business that day, several meetings.
Where was the gathering of where did he meet the Pope at?
At a hangar at the
Okay.
airport.
Oh, so he met him when he
Right,
got off
right
the
at the
plane.
airport.
Okay.
Yep. So the day is going on, and I get a phone call, and I forget if it was Gerald Barnes or Eric Pearson, one of the two. They were assigned to the Archbishop's residence where the Pope and his staff were staying. So they called, and they said, Tommy, you're not going to believe this one. I said, what? The Pope and his chief of staff want to meet with the governor today. And I said, really? Okay, well, regarding what? And there was a death penalty, an execution just happened to be scheduled while the Pope was here in St. Louis. So they informed me that it was because of, they want to talk about this gentleman being executed. So I informed the governor, and the governor said, okay, let's fly the legal team in here. Let's get everybody together and let's talk about this. So we did. The governor went to the Archbishop's residence. You can imagine the security. It was blocked off for at least a mile around the Archbishop's residence. So we get through, of course, and he meets with the Pope's top cardinal. And his name escapes me right now. But
Pujols.
oh, yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. I thought it'd be from JJ, actually. I thought that was. So
He's got jokes.
he came out, and the request was made that to cancel that execution. So the governor went around and got everybody on his staff's opinion.
And you were in the room.
We were actually parked in the. We had a black Suburban,
Mhm.
and we were parked in front of the residence, and his staff was in there in the Suburban, and then those that couldn't make it, we had on speakerphone
Wow.
from Jeff City.
In the mix.
So
You.
Wait. So
Go ahead.
the Pope didn't want to be a witness to it or pull the lever?
oh Lord, he did it.
He did it. He went there.
I didn't think he'd do it. I didn't think he'd do it.
No, so I'm wrong?
So
No?
the Pope,
I'm missing the
I'm just
story.
like it's not.
No.
Never
We're
Oh.
gonna cancel it.
You got to wait.
Not perform
Oh,
it.
I thought he wanted to watch. Pull the lever, maybe.
Oh,
The guy was a bad guy.
And there
He was
goes
a
our
bad-
he was a
podcast.
bad guy.
I'm
And
sorry.
there goes our
I was,
podcast.
It is the Pope.
hey,
Okay, go ahead.
So they all gave their opinion, and the consensus was amongst his staff was you have to go through with this execution.
Really?
Yeah, and what I love about Mel was he listened to everybody, but the decision was his and everything. And he said, let me think about it, and let's figure this thing out, but I don't know about that. So fast forward to the final mass prayer service at the new cathedral in Lindell. The president was in the first pew. Hillary was in the first pew. Al Gore, Tipper Gore, Governor Carnahan, and Mrs. Carnahan were in the first pew during this prayer service.
Where are you at?
I was standing right in front of the pew
Oh,
and
I
by
thought
the
you were,
governor.
like right in the middle of.
No. So the Archbishop steered the Pope as he came off the altar to say goodbye to the president and vice president and governor. And when he reached the governor, he grabbed the governor's hand and he said, Mr. Governor, I'm asking for mercy on Mr. Daryl Meese's life.
Daryl Mises.
Yeah, that was the gentleman that was scheduled to be executed. So the governor said it will be done. And he thanked him.
So that's when he
walked
made
away.
the decision, as
Right
far as
there
you
and then.
knew.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the decision was made.
That's
in
when
that
I
time.
heard. Yeah,
So is he
Yeah.
still alive?
he is life without parole. He killed 3 people. At dope, it was over
Wow.
dope. He hid out, ambushed his dope partner.
Any chance
his
of getting him
wife
back
and
on death row?
He's rolling, man. He's rolling.
I mean, you just told me
I
what
don't
he
know.
did. That's
One and done,
bad-
Jay.
I don't know.
It is on a roll.
I'm not.
He's going to kill somebody
He
else.
did take the governor took some heat on that because he was going to run against. Well, he did run against John Ashcroft for that U.S. Senate seat, and there were a lot of people there that were upset that that execution did not go forward.
It'd be hard to look the Pope in the eye and say no.
All right.
I'm sorry.
That's what the
Isn't he the
governor
most?
said.
And I'm serious about this. Isn't he the most popular person on earth,
Well known.
Correct.
I wouldn't
Correct.
say popular.
or
Popular.
most known?
Well,
What mess?
I don't know
best
that he's
known.
most known in.
No, Elvis is still the most popular.
I would say powerful, most powerful.
He is.
Not Elvis.
Muhammad Ali.
Oh Lord.
Are you just guessing who's more popular than the Pope?
Taylor Swift.
Well, now you're talking.
No, I mean, he is probably the most well known throughout the world.
because there's
Popular.
other places in the world that are really
You know
You know,
what's
they know
happening.
all that Pope
Producer
stuff.
John, you know what's happening here?
We're losing control of the show.
No, JJ is bloviating.
Well, yeah.
I'm
He's a
just gonna
bloviator.
sit here and listen to the story. I'm sorry.
Just spewing out things that have no factual backing. You're a bloviator.
he got me both times though. If that means
My whole
anything,
goal
we got
is
me
my
both
whole,
times.
my whole goal when I do this podcast is to see him laugh and bend over.
It's not that
Would
hard.
you say the Pope is probably the most powerful person?
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
think-
No, I don't
No.
know what the barometer is, but
We're apolitical here.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you started all this.
Hey, but before we get to the president and the prince,
And we mixed.
you tell a neat story about how the license plates back in the day, the Missouri the red
Yeah.
license plates got changed. Yeah, tell us that story real quick.
And my partner on the governor's detail, and more importantly, a good friend, Tommy Toth.
Good friend of all of ours.
All of ours, yeah. So Tommy and his wife, Pat.
Great Christmas parties.
Awesome Christmas parties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm
We
sorry.
got to get them going again.
Yeah, we do. I mean, Tommy Toth, if you're listening, let's focus. And
Absolutely.
Get this
Carry
party
on.
back together.
You know Patty will.
Carry on.
Patty's getting
Oh,
the
yeah.
apps ready already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So
Sorry.
he was, he being Tommy Toth, was assigned to Mrs. Carnahan, and she had her own staff and own schedule, and she would come into St. Louis with the governor and then go about her business and her meetings and what have you. So the norm was that Tommy would get Mrs. Carnahan around, and I would stay with the governor. So one day they came in together. Mrs. Carnahan went her way. I went my way with the governor. And at the end of the day, Tom said, listen to this one. I said, what? He said, we're driving around, going to our next meeting. We get stuck at a red light, and there's a car in front of me. I just happened to notice the Missouri license plates and how ugly they were. And I mentioned it to Mrs. Carnahan, and she agreed. And shortly thereafter, she formed a committee and got our license plates changed. So we got Tommy Toth to thank for
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Pissed off all
different.
the prisoners, I'm sure.
Gave Nisi a job.
Got
Give him
more
something
work
to do.
Got more work
Yeah.
to do.
Nisi,
Gave him a job.
right?
Yeah.
Mises,
Pope,
what was his name?
the president, the prince, and the plates.
Was that close?
Ah, there you go.
The 4 P's.
Yeah.
So me and JJ are wondering, was he right with Mises? Was that the name?
Daryl Meese.
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 I was close.
Plural for mice.
Two of them.
Daryl Meese.
I never get names
Talking
right.
about his brother too, the Mises.
But yeah, so that's how the plates.
I love
and
that.
I think we may be on we might have our second new plate since then.
That's
That wasn't Tommy.
That's riveting.
Not the current
That's
one.
rough.
Yeah, but Tom Toth had nothing to do with that one.
No.
Tell us
No.
about President Clinton on the Hill.
That's
Yeah,
good.
so this is a good one. I think it's good. I forget why the president came in. I don't recall the year, but at the end of the president's visit and what he was doing here, they took him to the Bocce Club on the Hill, which is a private club, Bocce, obviously. And the president's going to throw the ball.
A lot of Italians.
Yeah, right.
Our
And
buddy Bo.
our
remember?
Tommy Bottini and a bunch of others. So they, the president goes on the Bocce court, if that's right. I don't know.
Sure.
Is it
No, I think
court?
I can go with it.
I'm not sure. Tilt.
Pitch.
Not the pitch. So
Allie.
he's teamed up with a gentleman by the name of Mike Muckler, who's no longer with us, a retired electrician,
Mm-hmm.
IBW Local 1, and a member of the Bocce Club. So it's Mike Muckler, President Clinton at one end, and two other guys at the other end. And the president picks up the ball to start the match. And Muckler tells the president, he says, whoa, wait a minute. He said, it's $10 a man. There's no freebies around here. And the president said, excuse me? He goes, we up $10 a man to play. Winner takes all. And the president, he didn't have 10 on him. He had to go to his staff member and get,
He went to Hillary.
yeah, right.
Is that the reason why Mr. Muckler's no longer with us?
Oh, there
No,
goes
we ain't
the
going down
number.
that lane.
Yeah.
That's good though.
That is good.
Muckler's
You
not
know
a
Muckler.
common name,
Did you know Muckler?
Not really. I
Oh,
knew who
okay.
he was. I didn't.
but
Yeah.
Muckler's not a common name for the Bocce Club. Like Muckler,
No.
Mucklerini or something would
Wouldn't
be.
it?
but not
Yeah,
Muckler.
yeah, and he joined the Bocce Club. He's buried out of St. Ambrose.
No.
He just had a,
Who set that up? Whoever set, they probably knew putting him there was probably not a good idea. Oh, it was
or
funny.
maybe a good idea.
Or funny, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who did that.
That's funny. He's
But,
got.
yeah.
The president's got to laugh at that. Though.
He
Oh,
probably
yeah, he
did.
took it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he thought it was funny. It
Just
was
doesn't have
good.
$10 on him.
Still didn't have 10 on him.
He's broke. They don't make that much.
I don't carry no
Presidents,
cash.
I think they make like 170 grand a year.
Yep.
He couldn't even afford to sponsor the
You're
Blue
just
Line,
trying to make this
round
political,
table.
aren't you?
No. I'm bailing out right now.
You're just
This is me bailing out.
You're just
Do you want to
begging.
get political? I
No.
mean, do you go down that road like on this show? Or are you thinking?
No, we
it
will not talk politics. No.
I think that's a great move.
Yeah, we won't do it.
Right.
Right.
Everybody needs pay
Too
raises.
alienating.
Yeah. No. I agree with
Everybody
you.
got an opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. No. We don't want to go there. Enough of that on TV
Pope,
all day.
president.
The Prince.
So now we got to go with the prince. brother.
Prince.
Which
yeah.
prince we talking about?
Prince Andrew.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He was
That's
He's-
controversial.
the Duke of York at the time.
Okay.
And he came in. Boeing sponsored his trip. They brought him in. Boeing owns, I believe they call it a learning center, the Boeing Learning Center, and it's in unincorporated North County, and it overlooks the river, and it's several buildings, and they hold retreats there and things of that nature, meetings. So they brought him in. So I got a call from the chief's office that I was going to be assigned to Prince Andrew. I said, okay, what are we going to do and get the details. So I'm thinking I'm going to just pick him up in the governor's vehicle. They said, no, you're not. No, we're going to have a Bentley brought in from Chicago, and you'll be driving a Bentley. He doesn't get in a Crown Vic.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah,
Prince Andrew.
right.
All right.
Got to have room.
So now, and I should say this, that, back then we didn't know about Prince Andrew what we know about Prince Andrew now.
Right.
So
Are we
anyway.
suspicious though?
JJ is on.
Oh, you're on today, man.
Right.
This is
Don't-
water.
I know.
Because every listener right now is thinking the same thing.
thing.
All right, but go ahead.
So, at any rate, they brought in this Bentley, and Chief Mokwa said, you're not taking that home. You understand that? He said that car will stay in the garage. You secure it. Damn. Yeah. So
Should have rolled up the Milos in that thing.
Yeah.
that would have been neat. Yeah, that would have been neat. Hilltop.
When you said
Milos.
you brought in a Bentley, I thought you meant like Shirley Bentley,
Who's Shirley Bentley?
Yeah, never heard of Shirley.
one of Prince Andrew's friends.
Oh, is it really?
Really?
No, just a Bentley. I thought it was just a girl that they
Oh.
brought in for him.
We're gonna kill you.
Please do.
So I did, and he came in with member of his security staff, and for some reason I don't know why Chicago. A lot of people came in from Chicago, and a staff member and a security guy, and myself, and we did our thing with.
Did you
Prince
talk to
Andrew.
him? Drive
Oh yeah,
around,
great
talk-
guy.
Was
Great
he?
guy. Yeah, ask questions. Where are we? What's that flag? And just very easygoing guy.
You tell him that's
Regular
flag,
guy.
United States of America.
It was the city flag.
How many?
He
How
was
many?
looking
How
for
many
the-
handlers did he have?
He only had one staff. He had a staff.
JJ's
And,
coming
a
off that
security
happy
guy.
ending question.
No.
And now he's going into handlers.
Yeah.
Was it pretty
Low
big?
key.
I mean, was it? Oh,
It was low key. Yeah. Yeah.
Did he ever leave the place?
That's what I wanted to ask.
No, he spent the majority of the time up there.
See anybody
He
coming
went
in?
to.
Did he
What's that?
disappear for a couple hours at a time?
Oh, here we go.
Just that's what he was getting at. So I'm just following.
He
up.
went to
Dude,
like
We gotta go
Enterprise.
with what all the listeners are thinking. Man. You can't just ignore it.
He went to. He had meetings lined up at Enterprise, GKN Aerospace. The governor met
Okay.
him. So there was some, I guess, off-campus moves we made.
How was that
but
Bentley?
Nice,
Sweet,
heavy,
sweet.
quiet.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
fly it in on some kind of
No,
aircraft
they
that
drove
day?
it from Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, does the royal family have like a headquarters in Chicago or that?
There's something there that, with
Okay.
the UK. I don't know if it's, I don't know, Tom, but everything was coming out of Chicago.
for some reason,
Right,
That's okay.
So
right.
does he go by just Andrew now?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him.
The
since.
queen. The queen took his princeness
I think yes,
away.
he's just Andrew now.
Yeah,
He's
he's just Andy.
nothing.
He's Andy.
I'm sure he's got plenty of
What's
money.
the nephew? What's the redhead that left?
I don't know.
Is it Harry? With
Yeah, I think.
The royal
Yeah,
family's
he's
awesome,
not.
dude.
he's out.
They're all messed up,
With,
just like
he's
us,
out.
dude.
With,
Every
what's,
family's the same.
Meghan Markle.
You call
Yeah.
yourself royal if you want.
Well,
You're going to
well-
have some issues in your family. When
Oh,
it's
yeah.
big enough.
She left a good show, Suits, to go to marry him. Just saying.
Tommy, just one quick question. A lot of our listeners that are ex-law enforcement, went through the ranks of the police department, and to the T, I guarantee 97.8% of our law enforcement listeners had to suffer through hospital details where you had to go and literally spend 8-9 hours with a prisoner that was incapacitated in some way.
Right.
Do you know what a hospital
not
detail?
me.
Have you
No.
ever been on
No,
one?
I never.
I mean,
no.
you're with the Pope,
Mm-mm.
presidents, governors, and princes.
Not hospital details.
Not for you.
No.
Ain't doing it.
No.
Unless it was the
No.
governor.
Yeah, that's the governor tripped. Yeah.
I'm trying. No, I never have.
The other
Oh
one
my.
I had time on it.
Detail. I'm
You,
trying to think
you have
if
a
I've ever
golden
done.
career. That is-
I have. Yeah.
Wow.
I would wish my career upon anybody. I did. I was very fortunate.
You had another one with Michael Bloomberg, didn't you?
Yeah, he was a great guy, Mike Bloomberg.
Really?
He's hung out here.
Short fella, isn't he?
I'm sorry.
Short. He's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
short.
yeah.
isn't
He's short. Yep. He came in
Vertically
for-
challenged. You can't be calling people
he?
short
No,
anymore.
just rich and got more money than
Oh yeah.
do with. How
Yeah,
was he?
He was the mayor.
What'd you do with him?
Great guy. He
Mayor
came in
of
for to meet Slay for Mayor Slay for something. I don't recall, but we were driving around. He said, "Hey, show me the city. We got some time to kill." So naturally, the Arch. I took him to the Arch, and then went into Forest Park. And I'll never forget. I told him, I said, "Hey, this is our urban park here." And he said, "Okay." And I said, "And by the way, it's larger
Yeah.
than Central Park."
Mm-hmm.
And he
Fact.
he goes, "No." I said, "It is." And then he turned to his staff member and he said, "Hey, look that up." And the guy goes, "He's right.
By a
Yeah.
lot. It's like,
Like 500 acres
Yeah.
larger."
yeah.
Google that.
Yeah, he Googled
Go ahead
it.
and Google that.
Yeah.
Google killed me.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know how I just blurt stuff out with confidence?
Yeah,
Right.
I had,
Oh,
a,
yeah.
Once in a while, I get Googled nowadays.
Right.
I had a friend of mine the other day ask me if I wanted a very nice mint condition set of Encyclopedia Britannica. I mean, mint condition,
around.
gorgeous. Those things are obsolete.
Right.
You just punch it in the
I was
Google
just gonna
bar
say,
and
Yeah.
anything,
Where you putting that?
and it doesn't take up shelf space.
You gotta, you get right to there's no going. Remember, he had to go through the alphabet,
Oh, yeah.
and then
The card
everything-
catalog?
Yeah, yeah.
per catalog, even though it was the L catalog, it was all,
Right.
they had a search. Now you just
Yeah.
Google
Yeah.
that shit. It takes that right out.
Done.
Right.
JJ's fading out on his boys.
Done deal.
JJ's
So
fading
is
out
everybody
on
else.
I'm no good.
No, you talking about encyclopedias. I mean,
No,
when's the last?
the Google thing got us
All right.
with
When I
the
looked
bar.
over there and JJ was damn near sleeping.
I was trying to get Jack's attention. Like,
Oh yeah, cut it out. Those are good stories, Tommy.
Thanks,
No,
Danny.
but hold on a
Thank
second.
you.
Oh, I know. We're not going anywhere.
I want to bring up a picture.
what about
Uh-oh.
him saving a life?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Because
You know
this
about this?
picture, Tommy and I met on our first day on the police, or my first day on the police department,
That's right.
and rode with Tom for the latter half of the day after quite experience. We'll save that for another show.
Right.
I remained in the station for about 4 hours on my first day.
No fault of yours.
No fault of mine. They thought my
Debatable.
they thought my training officer was coming in, and he was actually on vacation. So I had to
You may do.
I had to mope around the station for 4 hours and had quite the experience. But
Was that
after
Chuck?
I got
That was
caught,
Chuck,
yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
But after I got after they realized that I was wandering around aimlessly, they put me with Tommy. And throw that picture up, John. Who's that family, Tommy?
Oh yeah, the seahorses. So I think the guy on the left still might be around.
Yeah, the far left.
Right.
Far left.
So for our listeners,
wow. Where did
if
you
you're-
get that?
No, it's,
well, forget
Tony
it.
Lockenick sent it to me.
Okay.
But for our listeners, every district has a family that is noted, whether for whatever reason, whether they're into dope or guns or killing or everything. But everybody's got a family, and the third district had many of them. But this is the most memorable one that you'll hear stories about, and they are called the seahorses. As you can see, they're different heights there. So when they would walk, they didn't have a car, and they just got around. And they walked, and this was the crew, man. They had a lot of sisters and other people involved in the family. It was a very tight family, if you know what I'm saying, like very, very tight. So when these guys would walk around, they would, the guy there,
Tall one.
the tall one, he was normal. He talked normal. And he was the one that the police would try to communicate with, because the other ones all had, they speech impediments and other impediments, but when they would walk down the street, they would walk in height, and as they walked, they would bob down, and they all walked in the same
Looking like a
fashion, and they would
seahorse.
bob, so they looked like seahorses. So hence
That's
the name.
right.
So, but I got that picture because one of our shows up down the road is gonna be on the 3rd District.
Oh yeah.
And that is going to be one of the after show.
But they did not commit crimes. They just.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
they fought with each other something fierce.
Oh yeah.
No
they were-
kidding.
Oh, yeah.
See, I didn't-
Oh yeah,
I thought they were just known for walking around.
they were. Oh no, they were down with shenanigans.
Really?
Fierce.
I didn't know that.
Do you
And,
think
I was up north. I
Bucket
was
Joe's still around?
Oh no, not Bucket Joe's.
Okay.
He yeah. I don't think he was old when we were there, wasn't he?
I don't know. I mean,
I think I was on.
Did you have
hospital
any
detail.
dealings with the seahorses?
I knew him.
But
Yeah.
never dealt with them.
Yeah, of course, get calls. Yeah,
But the
on 'em and-
stories on them,
Oh, they're
they're
endless.
legendary.
Yeah, right,
I mean,
right. You don't.
There's-
You never knew.
so they were
names or-
they were so popular that I've told all my kids about them. And showed them the pictures, told them some of the stories, and they're infatuated with them. So when I was
Can we
in
get other role models.
No.
Yes, other than-
no, but when I was in narcotics and DEA, and I would always tell everybody, if you see them, take a picture of them, just for nostalgia's sake. And you're right, that one on the left,
Yeah,
I think he's the only one left.
I think so.
I think he's the lone
Yeah.
survivor, and I think some of them had different ways of dying that were
Mhm.
interesting that I'm sure we'll hear
Right.
in
On
the
the
3rd
third
district
district show.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Who do we got on the 3rd District coming in?
Rich Banahan.
Bunko.
And Bunko and Joe Walsh are going to be our main interview with
That's awesome.
That'll
and
be
Bob
good.
Zambo and Tom Dittmeyer are going to be another interview. So
Hold on.
Oh,
a
that'll
second.
be good.
Hold on a second.
That'll
We have
be-
Tom Malachek here, producer John, and we're gonna have Bunko on our show.
Yeah, no chicken wings.
Yeah, no, Tommy,
Was
I gotta
that-
tell you this story.
what happened?
Me and producer John are eating at Bethle's, a fine, legendary, law enforcement friendly establishment. We're having lunch, and in walks Bugsy Moran, Bunko Banahan, and some other people from SLU.
Right.
And they sit at the table
Right.
next to us, and Tommy Malachek's over at our table, and you can just imagine that he's telling stories, and a lot of them, and he's the only one talking 97% of the time. And Tommy Malachek's in the middle of a story, and he's all into it, like he gets into it.
Right.
You know, he's in the middle of a story, and we're all listening. And at the table behind us, Bunko is choking on a chicken wing, and
Right.
he's going, and he's turning colors, and
Yeah.
Tommy Malachek's in the middle of the story, looks over and sees what's going on, continues with his story, checks again. He wasn't blue enough yet, I guess. and then he tells his story a little bit, and then he pops up, runs over, grabs Bunko, gives him the Heimlich. The chicken bone comes running out,
Look at
shooting out. Tommy comes right back over like nothing happened and didn't miss 6 seconds of his story and continued his story. And Bunko's like, "Oh, geez, thank you." You know? Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
I do remember it. Yeah. I just happened to look over, and his face was getting beet red. His eyes started watering, and
You okay? Yeah, you okay?
just went over there and did
Give him a quick
and
Heimlich.
But
he
Chuck
was
was so
good.
Have you
smooth
ever
about
given
it.
the
He
Heimlich
didn't-
before, or was
He
it
didn't
just
say anything, or
No, he didn't say anything.
Tommy
No.
he just came back
I'll
and sat
tell you
back
what
down.
he did. Rich looked at me again, unable to communicate. Tears coming out of his eyes. His face is beet red, and he goes, and like, do something here, you know. So I did.
Jumped
And
in.
That was the end of it.
Look at you.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No, that was huge.
Heroic.
That's heroic.
You're a
stuff.
hero.
Oh, God.
You're a hero. That'll get you back
Should
on
be
the
officer
show.
of the retired officer of the week.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
gonna be officer of the
The
week.
it's a double.
you,
It's a
JJ.
blue line round table and the second officer of the week.
Tommy, thanks for coming.
Retired officer.
Thanks
of the
for
week.
having me.
You'll
It
be
was,
back. You're,
Hold
you're,
on a
you're
second.
too
Didn't
good.
we have something that producer John wanted to show us from 50 years ago?
Oh, from the
man.
newsroom.com?
From newsroom.com. He wanted to bring something up.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I insist because I spent like 8 hours down in the stacks looking through old newspapers because
Uh-oh.
this is from this week, 50 years ago. This, so here's what happened. the,
I like the title.
Right.
Yeah, the title's Policemen Only Gawk at Streak by Station. Officers at police headquarters at 1200 Clark became gawking spectators as about 50 male streakers sprinted by after midnight last night. Apparently confident the police would ignore the latest campus rage, the 50 streakers raced east on Clark, south on 12th, and then backtracked to Clark. But they, at some point, they tried to get in the station, but the officers wouldn't let them in.
50 naked people in
no
front of
shoes,
headquarters?
no shirt, no service.
Johnny, what year
it's-
was this?
This was 1974,
Okay.
50 years ago. The week,
Just a bunch of nude people trying to bust in headquarters.
yeah.
I
So
thought he was going to say he was in the pack running.
Who, Malachek?
I thought we were going to show something about Tom. You know, I thought it was going to be an article that you were like.
No, this is
something. I'm thinking,
a look back in time when
I
people streaking was obviously the thing.
well, and then they jumped in cars and they left. They were supposedly like Wash U or St. Louis U students, but in the same article, this happened out in Jennings. This is much worse. Another incident, Jennings police arrested Gary, I won't say his last name, last night after he was seen nude on a motorcycle in the 2600 block of McLaren. Police chased him briefly till he fell off the motorcycle as he turned an alley, and he did obviously receive many bruises and scrapes. Can you imagine
No.
laying down a motorcycle with no
Buck
clothes
naked?
on?
No.
even
No, it's horrible. But I was trying to look for a funny article from 5 or 10 years ago. There are none anymore in the newspaper. They're all pretty serious.
You know what
Right.
we need to do? Is
What's that?
do the evening whirl.
The evening world
Oh,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, some of them articles were legendary. Just
Right.
funny. They were short, funny.
can you find them
Nicknames.
online? You think?
John will.
no, I spent a
don't
lot of time.
No.
There are places you can go to get those, but I think like if you went down to like the main library downtown, they have
I have
copies.
to look into that.
Johnny, what was the gentleman that would deliver the in police headquarters? He
Ben
started at
Thomas.
the ti-
Ben Thomas.
He had free reign of the headquarters.
did.
Go in any room.
It was
Yeah.
crazy because the evening whirl, because policemen found it as a badge of, a little notch.
Oh, you got to
to
get
be
in
it.
there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And then, but criminals did too. So when you would do search warrants, they'd cut out their article, whether they hit the the gun club or the
Yeah.
Yeah.
wife beaters and husband mistreaters or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they had and then again, if we could just have an evening whirl, like one article a show, that would be some classic
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm working on that. But the world started out years ago as they covered music and entertainment, but then it got to the point where they started covering, and it was pretty much pro police.
Yeah, he really
yeah.
was.
And they called out, kind of made fun of the criminals, and they would give the policemen recognition by name,
And
and they
nicknames.
gave them all nicknames. And I was Frisky Frank. It started out as Frisking Frank, but they shortened it to Frisky, and I had to explain to my wife it was nothing to do with how I handled myself on the street. But it was.
That would be a good, because the way they wrote their articles was humorous. They
Sure.
used
Oh,
different
yeah.
language and they made
Nicknames.
those short stories. They made them really funny, and but yeah, that might be something to look into in the future.
What we got next week?
We got Al Moore coming up, and Al Moore is a retired lieutenant from the St. Louis Police Department, and he was partners, or he was in the intelligence unit with John Frank, and they went undercover. One of their wilder stories is they went undercover as dirty cops. So that's kind of interesting, and Al now is the head of security, or the head of security for Spire.
Mm-hmm.
So Al's gone on to do some interesting things. We'll hear about those too, and he had a great career, similar years. Tommy, I don't know how much time he spent in
No
uniform.
hospital details either.
No hospital. I'm sure he didn't have a hospital detail either. So he'll be an interesting guest on
Did
different
Joe
stories.
Spees, did he ever make it to the hospital?
I don't think
Not
he
too
did either,
often.
but we're not.
Huh?
gonna
No,
go
what's
down.
wrong with that?
But that's
Oh.
good. You're 100%.
Here's a
How
question.
about you, JJ? Did you ever do a hospital
You're
detail?
damn right. I did
I did
plenty.
too.
I got one. I got a couple under
Regional hospital all the time.
What would you rather do? 8 hours, whole 8 hour shift on a hospital detail, or sit in, the sequester room for a trial for 8 hours and not get called all day.
Hospital.
Because it was
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
circus back in the day at the regional hospital.
Hospital was kind of fun. You didn't want to, because you could at least, you run into other coppers and
Yeah.
and you got to know the staff, that worked
Yeah.
at the hospital. When you're sitting in that room waiting to get called for trial and you sit there all day and you don't because in the early days, they didn't have TVs or anything.
No, you're just sitting there.
You sit in
baking.
there and look at and read your report for the 800th time. And
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
it was a break from answering call to call. So if
Yeah.
you're on a busy night and you get the hospital detail,
You know how
everybody
that
else is
feels,
shaking-
don't you, Tommy?
shagging
to
calls, and
to
you get
call.
to sit there. And
Brutal. It was brutal. Well, I was in the 3rd district. It was the biggest, busiest district.
Yeah, that's true.
For
You
how
were in there
long?
you were in there for
Two-
6
couple years?
months.
Couple
I
years.
beat Jill Spees.
That's all you're. That's all you're gonna say.
No, I gotta hang it.
That's all you're gonna say?
I beat Jill Spees. No, I was there 3 years. 3 years. Then
I don't know about all
Strong.
that.
That's strong.
I think that was. I think you're estimating up
No, I
You're just
believe it
going-
was 3 years.
to the next whole number.
I can't complain. I did 3 months and 3 years and 3 months. I went to mobile. Never looked
3 years and 3 months, and you went to mobile. Okay,
and never went back to the district other than getting promoted.
there you go. All right, JJ.
I wish I would never-
JJ's had
I wish I never would have said that now.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
So you're in there.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You're with. Oh well.
Well, we're not.
We're not going there.
going there. Sounds like a great show next week.
Yes.
Tommy, you'll be back.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I
You know, it's
enjoyed
2
it.
weeks from now.
Barney's.
El Chapo.
Oh, El Chapo.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah, we got Jack Riley and Joe Cronin coming in from the
Huge.
DEA, and that's going to be a fun one.
That's going to be a good one. All right. Brighter side of blue. Peace.
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 What's happening?
I'm kind of excited about our first ever,
First time.
Officer of the Show, Officer of the Week from the town of Brentwood, the 2023 Officer of the Year, Officer Jamie Clark. Jamie, thank you for your service. Thanks for coming to the Brighter Side of Blue. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What'd you do to deserve such a thing?
I don't know.
The Officer
I
of the
guess
Year?
I just show up.
You know who?
I was gonna say that.
Who
Should've.
put her in for a Chief Spees?
Chief Spees. Officer of the show.
This sounds political.
I don't know.
It's our
Yeah, don't get me in
friend.
trouble at work.
Just so happens to be
Oh,
the
no, we
first officer of the week. Is our friend's employee.
Well, that's a great point, JJ. We are looking for more recommendations and nominations from all over, right, Tom?
Absolutely. And we got the city covered. We don't need suggestions from the city, but these municipalities that are around, we really want to get you guys a spotlight on some of the stuff you guys are doing. We know there's a lot of good police work going on out there, and like I said, we got the city covered. But if you are in a department or would like to, and it doesn't have to be, it can just be any officer you want to send that can represent your police department, have fun. It's not, that's all we're going to do is just spotlight
fun.
some of these great police work that's going on and have fun with them.
That's how we roll. That's what we
Well,
do.
Jamie, nice to meet you. Good luck and take care.
Thank you.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Woo, easier than I thought.
Yeah. So you wrote 123 police reports in 2023. Do you understand that in 20 years of police work, Tommy Sawyer only wrote 12? 12.
Luck,
It's a hair over that.
luck of the draw, I guess.
He was the king of coding.
You just write
Code a
everything.
call like nobody.
You just write. You just write everything.
You got to find the right partner.
to do all your writing.
Mm-hmm. So I was on a roll till I found Leo,
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
and then it was who would write this report.
So tell us about your time out in Brentwood. Who's your mentor out there?
I mean, I've kind of had more than one. When I first started, it was nice having Major Hawkins there.
She came from the city.
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be a good mentor.
She was
She-
very good.
Yeah. Good energy.
She's a badass.
Yeah. Definitely helped me find my mold myself into the department. But I mean, just the sergeants that I had, I was super lucky. Helped me understand like the policies and procedures and like kind of like the Brentwood way to do stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I just got lucky. I think I've had Todd, Ben, who is my most recent sergeant, and then Josh, who was my FTO. Oh, God, he was great. You know,
What's
he
Josh's last name?
Bower Sox.
Okay.
He was the kind of guy who was like, all right, let's go find some
Bad guys.
yeah, let's go find some cockroaches.
Yeah, some cockroaches.
There you go. There's a new name. There's a new name
And you've
for
been there for 5 years? In Chiefs?
Almost. June 26th or 24th One of those days.
In June.
Yeah.
It'll be 20. It'll be 5 years.
Not 20. No.
I think Danny left.
That's a long time out.
You'll get there. It
Danny
happens
left a couple
fast.
of your accomplishments off. Last year, you also made 40 arrests and received 18 awards from your supervisors of outstanding work being done. So, this is, again, we're just going to right away thank you for doing
Yes.
all that. And for the citizens of Brentwood, we thank you, too. I'm sure that they're nice to have an officer out there working that hard. So what shifts do you work out in Brentwood?
Right now the typical one is 6 to 6, whether that be day shift or night shift. Right now I'm actually on a specialized unit, so I'm working Monday through Friday, 10 to 6.
All right.
And it's kind of just go out there and
Monday through
produce the
Friday.
numbers.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I've always, my advice to all policemen is find a good scam and hold on to it for dear life.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
And when I say scam, I mean that politely.
It-
It's a
that-
good job.
That
I should
offends
say.
me.
I believe if you work hard, good jobs will find you.
That's exactly right.
So you work hard, and you can obviously do, and a good job has found you.
I try to.
The chief spoke very highly of you to
Oh,
us,
jeez.
both on the air and off. He really did.
Can I ask you one more
So-
question though?
Maybe.
Sorry for interrupting.
Maybe.
How many females are in the department?
So it's me, Major Hawkins, and then we actually just hired one more.
And how big a total officers you have?
Road is typically 20, and then typically we have 2 detectives, and then you have all of admin, 2 lieutenants, 2 majors, and then the chief.
Okay, that's just from. I was just curious.
On
Small
average,
department.
how many times does Tom Bottini barbecue for you guys?
So I don't know if I can give a fair number because
It's
I might not
constantly-
be there. You know,
That's true.
That's true.
I would say maybe a minimum of 4 times a year.
Okay, but is it
He's very good.
sticking with
expect
the,
phone
Oh yeah,
calls.
I love the meatloaf.
sticking with Tom Bottini?
He's good.
Would you agree that he is probably the hardest working employee of the entire city of Brentwood?
Just saying.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for that advice. Thank you.
Well, congratulations. You're
Yes.
Officer of the Year 2023, Officer of the Show, first ever for Brighter Side of Blue, and you're the winner of the Star Wars trivia.
Oh boy.
And as your parting prizes, we've decided to give you a field promotion to corporal. So just let Chief I always call him Sheets.
Chief Spees.
Spees know when you get to work tomorrow that you are now.
And tell him to act accordingly because you are now a corporal. And if he has any issues, he can call us.
You know, I'll just tell them to watch this episode. When does this one get posted?
Next
Friday.
Next Friday. All
And
right.
just
I'll
tell
tell
'em-
them tune in next Friday.
Yeah, because it's not debatable. Producer John makes all the titles.
But you
and
need to
does all the
walk around like
promotions.
you're important as all get out.
Own it.
Own
Own
it,
it,
right.
Corporal.
I work in a small department. That's not a good idea.
Corporal Clark.
Just go out in the report writing room, and whoever's sitting down, say, "Hey, that's my chair. Get up."
Oh, I
Move.
do have a chair in
Get-
the report writing room though.
You have your own chair.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
We
112
you know
reports get you your
you
own
work
chair.
with the same 4 people. You typically have a seat that you sit
That's
in.
true. That is true.
So
Officer Clark, thank you. And we hope to see you here again in 2024.
Yep.
I-
we'll see.
Last
As the
thing,
officer
We'll
Jamie.
see.
here.
Last thing, Jamie. The city's hiring. If you want to come to the city,
No,
let
thank
me
you.
know.
No, thank you.
Just let
No
you know.
offense.
It's fun.
It-
A lot of
it's fun.
action.
I still like my humanity.
Maybe you get back to you can get the mobile. You gonna promise her that, JJ? You got that kind of stick or no?
I do my. She could come and ride with us anytime she wanted.
I mean, it would be exciting.
Just saying.
It's always fun,
Hey.
like when Major Hawkins gets a chance to be.
Maybe we'll work with Speece on having them send some Brentwood people down to Mobile just to hang out for a couple weeks.
Do you like an internship?
Right.
I'm with
It'll help. Hey, maybe we're onto something here.
I like it.
It's
Or
the
maybe
3
Mobile
week-
can come out and ride with Jamie.
That's true. I don't think Speece would want us out there.
All right, we're wrapping it up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Jamie.
you.
Peace.